Good morning and welcome to another conversation with Mose. And as always, I pray life is treating you well, exceptionally well, wherever you are in the world, and that you're one day closer to your dreams, hopes, and prayers coming true. I decided to do a poem in introduction to this new podcast for today. And this poem is called Time is Precious, taken from my book, The Joy Experience, available now where books are sold. Again, time is precious. Sunrises, full moons, starry nights, birthdays, holidays, precious moments in time we can never get back. Moments that can be cherished alone or shared by two. We don't have forever. Each second is a blessing from God. Please don't let us lose this time apart, when this could be our time to create memories of a lifetime. I cannot let time slip away into tomorrow without telling you I love you today. I thought that poem was pretty appropriate for today's podcast. Actually, I was going to do a different poem, but I wanted something that was a little bit more inspiring than what I was originally going to read. And today's subject for this podcast is You Can't Break a Heart That's Already Broken. You can't break a heart that's already broken. And I was inspired by the Sade song, Somebody Already Broke My Heart. And I just happened to be listening to it in the car, I believe. I'm not sure where I was, but I remember that song and I can't recall right now. I apologize what album that's from, but you can Google it and you'll find out. But again, it's called Somebody Already Broke My Heart. And I was listening to it metaphorically and literally because that's how my mind works. Then I decided to do a podcast on being brokenhearted and what that actually means. And I'm coming from the perspective of if you're loving a person that's already had a broken heart, experienced it. And I mean not so much just romantically, but just disappointment, heartache, pain from all sides, not just, like I said, a romantic situation. And the reason I say that is because when you're loving someone, and I'm not really defining it by anybody's age either or race. When you're loving someone that's already been broken, there's a couple things that you need to keep in mind. They're going to have some baggage. They are. They're going to unpack it on you. They're going to unpack it on somebody else. But people that have been broken in some way have baggage. Some of them, sometimes they don't even know they have it. They don't acknowledge it. And that's what you kind of have to look for when you're loving someone or attempting to love someone that has been broken. And then the other thing is, if they've already been broken, there's not much else you could do to hurt them. And what I mean by that, if somebody's already been hurt, they know what it's like to be abandoned or to be disappointed by somebody. It's kind of easy for them to disconnect for some people, at least that is for me. Because I've been hurt before, like multitude of times. And it's an experience you really don't want to wish on anyone, but it's made me a better person. It really has. I don't speak on my past experiences, whether it's job situations or whatever it might be. I try to learn the lesson and then I go on. But when you're loving someone, again, I'll use myself as an example. I disconnect from people, and it's something I learned to do. I believe in friendship, I believe in love, and I believe in fighting for what you want. If the people involved are fighting for it. But I've been hurt so many times by people that were close to me that strangers don't even bother me anymore. So it's kind of, I know the pain of being hurt. So it's easy for me to lick my own wounds and, pray and go through my process of healing. And I do believe in that too. And that's the other part when you're loving someone who's broken, whether they're trying to heal or not. And I believe that part is very important because you can't make them, no matter what you do, you can't get them to love you back or not self inflict pain on themselves or try to sabotage that relationship. And again, it's not always romantic, it's friendship as well. I don't have a lot of friends. I'm not close to a lot of people. And it takes a lot more effort to get close to me. I share and I talk, but I'm not really the person that is anxious to get close to anybody. You have to earn that space in my life. And, I know that might sound arrogant, but you got to earn the right to be in my presence. I mean, really be in my presence. For me to talk to you on the phone or to want to break bread with you, that requires a certain level of synergy and energy because I won't compromise that anymore. At this stage of my life, if we're not helping each other or if it's not reciprocated, then we have no reason to be friends. Now, acquaintances, comrades, that's something else. But when it comes to actually engaging with you, inviting you to my home, talking with you, looking at you in the face, or FaceTiming, whatever it is, you have to earn the right to be in that space. And again, if you're loving someone or trying to befriend someone that has been broken, you're going to have to be patient with that person. You really are. Because if they know they're worth it, you just have to find out if they're worth it. And it goes both ways. It does. Because again, we're all living in a time where people have done things and maybe traumatized us in our experiences. And you meet somebody new that wants to get close to you. And it's difficult. It's difficult to let your guard down because I'm one of those people that my guard is always up. It just is. I'm not quick to call people back. And I don't even say that anymore. I'll give you a call. I just don't. Like I said, I don't really, I can't tell you the last time I gave out my phone number. It's lonely at times. Like I said, I'm not saying it's something I'm proud of, but it's just something that it's the space I'm in because I gave a lot of opportunity to people that didn't need to be there. And I'm not going to lie, I was deceived by people. I won't say lied to. I mean, lied seems so blanketed, like so big. This was the deception. When people actually, they just not who they say they were. And that's the biggest deception to me is that I was going on people's word that, oh, God, this is who you are. And again, this is not meant to be a gaslighting podcast or it's definitely not a woe is me, but I'm acknowledging the fact that I have been broken and professionally, personally, and talking about it is healing because you're being honest and saying, okay, this still bothers me. And I'm the quiet guy in the room. I'm very quiet. As much as I like to engage and talk, you're only going to know that if you spark something in me. I love intelligent people. I love intelligent conversations about being enlightened or something I didn't know, having an aha moment with somebody. And I don't really care who it is. I just love intelligence. I mean, I don't like people that say things that's not based on anything, any truth. Something they got off social media. They don't have any proof of the conversation, meaning you're just saying what you heard somebody else say. There's no concrete evidence of what you're saying. You're just repeating it. And that's gossip to me. That's not truth. So, and again, I'm not perfect. But again, I love being enlightened by people. I love sharing my experiences with people and maybe helping them with, meeting better people, better friends. Because again, the world is crazy now. And people should be taking inventory and taking stock of who's around them at this point, whether you're talking about religion or politics or professional changes in your life. Because I can't, again, be around people that aren't helping me in some way. And I mean, like, whether it's professional, personal, helping me grow. Because again, that means I'm going backwards. And it's too late to go backwards. And I'm not one of those people that's going to force myself on people. I'm not trying to get people to change their ways. If that's who you are, that's who you are. But I'm constantly scratching my head like about people. And, I was talking to someone about marriage recently, the young lady who does my hair, and she had all these ideas about how women are obsessed with getting married. And I was kind of scratching my head inside my head, thinking to myself, people still do that. People are still, there's nothing wrong with getting married. And the question came up, she asked me, what are my thoughts on marriage? And I think marriage is a great institution. But there's a couple of things that I think are missing. I think God is not in the relationships anymore. I think people just do what they want, how they want. And I don't agree with that. I don't necessarily stand on getting married multiple times. And what I mean by that, 6, 7 times, I think people should get married when they're ready to be married, whatever that looks like for them. Because to be honest with you, I think people don't want to go through any kind of trauma, any kind of shit that hits the fan in your relationship. Nobody wants to deal with it. I mean, I don't understand. There's such a contrast to me when you look at our parents and our parents' parents and the ancestors that went through stuff. Maybe they didn't want to stay in a relationship. Maybe they had to, but where were you going to go? I mean, if Black relationships to me have challenges anyway. I've said that before. I think Black relationships are inherent. We have inherited stuff in our relationships, whether we wanted to or not. Stuff from our childhood, the way we were raised, all of those things. And then you got racism and you got all these other factors in Black relationships. So Black relationships are already challenged from the onset. So unlike other counterparts, our other non-Black people. But again, and I'm not saying we should feel sorry for ourselves. I'm just saying you have to go into the relationship, man or woman, man, woman, woman. We dealing with some shit on our own. So you're asking someone else to love you with all your shit, all your baggage. And if you're dealing with somebody that's already been broken, then you got to deal with that. Then you might be raising kids and they're seeing their parents that are broken, So it's kind of it's a cycle. And that's my point. You really have to go in knowing, okay, I'm loving a person that's went through some stuff. Don't try to dismiss it. Don't try to act like it didn't happen or whatever. We have to acknowledge the stuff that we're dealing with, whether it's infidelity, whether it's, ask that person, are they worth this? Is it worth loving this person? You got people that are going through midlife crises and, I can't imagine the pain that women have to go through, childbearing, not being able to have kids, or you might have a kid with special needs, autism or retardation or whatever it might be, ADHD. There's so many different things now. And I don't have kids. So I can't imagine the pressure it puts on a relationship. If you have a newborn baby, making sure the baby's okay and all the things that you have to deal with outside of your relationship. And then let's talk about your friends, the people that you have around you while you're married, who's feeding your mind. Again, I believe in that small village now. I wish I had known this when I was younger, but you really do have to protect your family life, your home life, your work life, and your relationship with God. And it gets back to Him. If you practice any kind of religion or if you believe in something. But again, if you're loving someone who's been broken, you have to go in knowing that it's going to take time. Like I said, if you want to be my friend, then you got to spend time with me. You got to get to know me. And the other thing I don't like is if somebody asks me for my advice on anything, I look at the person. And if I know you, I'm going to give you advice based on who I know you are, what you've shared with me. So everybody's not like me. So I don't give them advice based on me. It depends on the experience, but it's usually in what they're asking of me, I try to be honest, and I think about the person that I'm speaking to, their personality, and what I think will apply to them. But again, when it comes to love and relationships and friendships, when you're dealing with people that have been, I mean, hurt, like really, really hurt, why people don't want to hang out anymore. And people think, oh, they're depressed. They're not depressed. They just don't want to be around people like that anymore. They don't want to, jump through hoops to be your friend. And they don't want to call you 100 times and you don't call back. Or if you keep putting them off, nobody wants to go through that anymore. And I feel bad for the people that feel the need to do that. Again, we're living in a stage where friendship and marriage should mean more. I'll say it again. I said it before. I think things should be more sacred. Friendship is sacred to me now. If I call you my friend, then I really mean it. And I also think that people, getting back to the question about marriage, I honestly think it's a beautiful thing. I just don't think people treat it as sacred as they should. That's all. Whatever that means to you. Yeah, love should be there, sex should be there and all that. But I mean the sacredness of it. It's like the Bible to me is sacred. And I'm not equating relationships with the Bible. What I mean is, it should be treated the same. It should be handled the same. If I had a wife and we got divorced and we have children together, I'm never going to speak ill of my wife because she's the mother of my children. And if I do have issues with my wife, I'm either going to God or I'm going to my wife and saying, hey, I'm not going to, this is a woman, we had a relationship once. And we have children together. So why would I speak ill of her? Even if she was the worst wife in the world. And again, even if she wasn't the best mom, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in doing things to undermine somebody that we once loved. I just don't believe in that either. And even friendships that I don't particularly talk about, I don't have anything to say. I don't have any, like even now when I see it online with famous people who shall remain nameless that talk about other people, again, I feel like friendships and conversations should be sacred. Some things should never hit social media. It should be just one of those things between you and that person. Because I don't understand why you need an audience for your argument. Like, why do you need an argument? Why do you need an audience to participate in your argument? I don't believe in that. Like, even some of the issues I may have had with my family or with my partner, that's not for everybody at all. And even some of my closest friends I don't talk to about things like that. Because again, they're not in the relationship. They're not in my family. And some things should be sacred to you, God, and whoever it is. And again, it just applies to friendship, any relationship, really. It could be a coworker. It doesn't really matter. It's just that what I don't understand is why nobody seems to truly care about what friendship and what love actually is. And again, I'm no expert. It's just that I feel like we've gotten away from really treating things precious. And like I said, time is precious. Relationships are precious. And I guess that's where that poem came. Like I said, birthdays and holidays, spending time with your friends and people that you care about. Those are sacred times with your children. It's a friend of mine my best friend actually recently became a grandmother. I love hearing her stories about her relationship with her grandson. I love, this is a new chapter of her life that she's excited about. And I love hearing it. I love the excitement in her voice when she's talking about her grandson. And I'm not envious or jealous. I'm genuinely happy because I know she was looking forward to this part of her life and she's really excited about it. And me, myself, having a grandmother, I know that relationship, so again, I believe that time is precious. We're precious. And if you're loving someone, be mindful that you have to be patient and you have to really be present. That's the other thing. I've learned to be present with everybody I love. I'm not thinking about what I'm getting ready to do next week or the next moment. And I make time for those moments. I'm in school now and I got a full-time job, but I carve out time to spend with people that I love. I just, again, I have a whole different mindset on love and relationships. And I think, no, I know you have to remind people, I love you. I care about you. You matter. I'm proud of you. Congratulations. And you have to use those words regularly. I mean, not just sometimes, regularly. I'm proud of you. Good job. How you doing? And I'm not one of those people you got to talk to every day. You call me, I got friends I haven't talked to in years, and we talk for like 2 or 3 hours. And we might not talk again for 3 months, 6 months, maybe a year. But I know they're good and I'm good. Or I may text them and say, I was just thinking about you. How you doing? It's, again, a conscious effort. But getting back to, if you love someone that's already been broken, take that time. Because I promise you, you'll get a Post-it note saying, I can't do this anymore. Because and what I mean is that a person that's been broken can walk away faster than somebody that hasn't been broken. Or maybe they're just wired differently now, and I'm one of those people with all my relationships, no matter what they were, I cried until I stopped. And then when I stopped crying, I didn't care anymore. You don't make me feel any kind of way, and that's how I am. I'm kind of one of those people. I feel it. I own it. If I'm hurting, whether I lose a job or whatever the situation, whatever's breaking me, I feel it. I allow myself to be depressed for a moment, and then I snap out of it and I get back to business. And then it's no longer an issue for me anymore. It's a part of my history. So again, not everybody can do that. But again, and then I have great friends. If I need to vent, I can vent, get it out, and move on. And it's part of my healing process. It's part of my healing. And of course, I'm going to write a poem about it. I'm going to do a podcast about it. Anything to get it out. Because I'm notorious for writing a poem. Whether it's an angry poem, a love poem, I'm trying to get over this poem, I can write a poem about anything, and that's what poetry is. It's a release. It's a way of letting go of whatever it is that's bothering you. And I've been doing it since I was a kid, whether it was somebody picking on me or whatever. You all have to find a way to heal. So, but again, it's something my grandmother said about a vase when I was young. She was saying you can have a vase that's cracked, but you turn it around so nobody can see the crack, but the crack is still there. So you're dealing with a lot of vases that they're hiding the crack in their heart. And you have to figure out how to love this person. I mean, really love this person. And to be honest with you, I'm getting older, and my weight is fluctuating, and I got all this gray hair, and I'm trying to love that person because I've never been this guy before. I've never been an older man. I'm looking in the mirror, I see my parents, my dad, and it's different. It really is. And I don't feel older, but my body tells me I'm older, and I'm building a new relationship with myself, and it's different. It really is. I'm hard on myself, probably harder than I should be. And I don't have low self-esteem, but it's more like really getting to know who this Mose is in his 50s, getting to know this person and merging the old me with the new me and loving that side of me, loving both sides, all sides, the kid, the teenager, the young man, and even the man I am now. And again, it's all a part of being broken and healing yourself. And I'm not sure if you understand, again, with this particular podcast, but it's about, again, your relationship with yourself, facing your disappointments with yourself, your failures, the decisions you might have regretted back in the day. But I feel like everything that we've gone through has brought us to where we are right now. So I've had a lot of bad experiences. I mean, I have so many chapters of my life that I could write about. There's not enough pages, for me to put words on the pages. But the one thing I'm proud of with myself is I do love who I am. I love my character. I love that I stand up for myself and I stand up for other people. And I've always been that guy. Always something that seemed wrong, an injustice or something that just didn't seem right. I stand up for people. And I look for that in my friendships. I want to see people stand up. And it saddens me that I've been in situations where people don't stand up for themselves. They don't stand up for other people, what they believe in. They kind of cower. I don't say anything. I just notice and I observe with people. And I need to be around people that are stronger than me at times or willing to stand up with me and fight with me, because I've had to fight a lot of battles by myself. And that's the one thing I can respect about my partner. We don't always agree on certain things, but he has stood by me in my beliefs, even if he didn't always understand what I was fighting for, what was bothering me. And you have to, at the end of the day, you have to stand up for what you believe in. And it's, again, all part of the loving process and being healing and dealing with somebody that's broken. And I hope you understand where I'm coming from in this perspective, is that when you're loving someone, whether it's a new relationship, an old relationship, friendship, whatever it might be, tread lightly. And if somebody has their guard up, or if they're like not anxiously trying to be your friend or anxiously trying to be your boyfriend or girlfriend, give them some time. If they're worth it in the end, you'll be satisfied. And even the same thing with you. Allow someone to get close to you, but give yourself some grace and say, you know what? And because again, I'm learning to do it. It's not easy to let people get close or get inside your space. But again, this is to encourage people to don't be afraid to let people love you, and don't be afraid to love others, because you have the right intentions. And that's the other thing I learned. I can say that open-heartedly that I've never personally or consciously hurt anyone. Everything I did was intentional. I can't speak for someone else, but I can say I did things that were intentional on purpose. If I said I love you, I meant it on purpose. I said things and I did things with purpose, on purpose. And I'm still going to be that guy. And I'm still going to get it wrong sometimes, but it's okay. I believe I'm still getting blessed because I had good intentions. Why I continue to thrive and do okay. And I want to encourage you to not to remain broken, but to take time to try to heal yourself and maybe heal someone else. So I hope you got a chance to really understand where I was coming from with this one. I wanted to do something, again, a little different with this particular podcast. But anyway, as always, I want to talk about my store, All Things Moetic. I'm going to be making some changes to it and taking some things down, adding a few things. It's springtime. We're heading into summer soon, and I really want you guys to come by and take a look around again. Like I said, I'll be making some changes to it. But come by, buy some unique gifts for some unique friends. And as always, I pray life is treating you well wherever you are in the world, and that you're one day closer to your dreams, hopes, and prayers coming true. Thank you for listening.